Thank you for joining me this morning for those of you who are based in Singapore. And if you're watching me from elsewhere in the world, I'm happy to have you here with me as well. I think for some of you, you're probably viewing this from the States. And if you're watching this as a recording, it's fine too, because I received quite a few questions from people elsewhere in the world, and you're not able to connect with us at this time, so it's fine. The recording will be up. Okay, so this is for the benefit of people who have never attended my class. My name is Shamla Tan, and I am a spiritual teacher and I'm a life coach, and I do a lot of psychotherapy work with my students and my clients as well. And the reason why I've set this up is because I wanted to make my classes a little bit more public. At this time in Earth's history, shall I say, there's so much, there's so much changes on the planet right now, and I feel people need to be re-educated because social media has been used or have been weaponized on so many different levels to dumb down human consciousness, to make people not so smart, not so bright, where there are a lot of, as sometimes when you go on social media, right, there's a lot of rubbish in inverted commas being, produced, and quality content, right? Educational content is not within the algorithm. So this is my part to play to add to the algorithm of, when someone watches educational stuff, then they'll be shown more educational stuff. And that's my goal. All right. And I feel that we as a human race, we are awakening to a different aspects of ourselves. I think we all need to tap into this wisdom that we all have, but may somehow be blocked or not aware. So a big part of understanding self has to do with dreams. I know dreams to many people seem like very superstitious, or they feel like if they dream of someone dying, it means that someone is dying, right? But dreams really is like a mirror, or the connection to our unconscious, to our subconscious. And a lot of times, these dreams are very revealing. They reveal to us who we really are, what are our fears, what are our aspirations. Of course, once in a while we do have dreams are more predictive kind of dreams where we may be tapping into a particular kind of energy that could be, more predictive in nature. So let me just do a quick check on the volume. I'm not sure. Okay. Of course, I'm just doing a quick check on the volume to see whether the sound is on. Okay, so dreams are really a gateway to our unconscious, and dream interpretation is a little bit tricky because usually the symbols or whatever we dream about is highly, highly symbolic, and it is not literal, is very rarely literal. And if we do not understand ourselves, if we're not in touch with ourselves, the dreams become very meaningless. But if we are in touch with ourselves, we understand we have a level of self-awareness, the dreams, the symbols in the dreams become really very powerful to help us to understand ourselves, to help us to understand what to watch for. Okay, so for me personally, I enjoy sleeping because of dreams. Every night before going to bed, I would set an intention that I would like to remember my dreams. We all dream, it's just that we do not remember them. But the quality of the sleep is very important, right? The deeper we can go into our sleep mode, the deeper our dreams, and the greater our ability to remember the dreams. So as I often hear people, especially women, right? They always say things like, "Oh, I have problems sleeping, so and then I don't dream much. And that's because the quality of the sleep is not very good. All right. So we have to have deep quality sleep. And so you might want to check with your health practitioner on how to induce deeper sleep, right? So if you have problems like women with hormonal issues, right, you really need to seek help. You probably lack magnesium as well in your diet, so you do need to have deeper sleep. The deep sleep is important, right? I mean, I'm not going to go into this whole health thing. I'm not a health, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to, advise you on that. But I'm a wellness coach, so I do know that health, a quality of sleep is essential. Okay, so the deeper our sleep, the kind of dreams that we have are a little bit more telling, right? It reveals a lot more. So there are different types of dreams. Okay, we have lucid dreams. Lucid dreams are the type of dreams where it feels very real. You feel like emotionally, you're invested, you're in the dream, right? Emotionally, and you feel the fears, you feel all the emotions. That's lucid dreaming. And the aim, right, for many spiritual practitioners is to have control within the lucid dream, which means to be able to control the direction of the dream. That's the aim of spiritual practitioners. And for those of you aspiring, to be able to get there, right, where you are able to control the direction. You're dreaming. You're very conscious that you're dreaming, and you want to control, which means you are also in a way kind of like going through a process where you are allowing your unconscious to be reprogrammed, or you are doing conscious reprogramming of your fears and anything that may be scary to you, or so there's a high possibility to be able to do that if you develop a higher level of self-awareness. Okay, and then of course we have nightmares, okay, which is a form of dream. A nightmare usually is when we have nightmares, they tell us that these are our fears, right? The nightmare is our fears being played out. This happens a lot when we are suppressing our fear. We are suppressing like our waking world, right? When we go out there, we have certain fears, but we don't want to acknowledge, or we have numbed the emotion, we have numbed our fears. So they do come up in a form of nightmares because we don't want to confront some of our emotions and our fears. They have to come up somehow. If they don't come up, then it's going to cause us physical pain, physical discomfort, and physical illness. And so this is our brain or our body's way to expel these fears and to deal with them and to make them a little bit more confrontational, so that we have to look at them, like a movie, right? This nightmare becomes like a movie playing out. So that's nightmares. Then recurring dreams. What are recurring dreams? Recurring dreams are it happens all the time, right? The same theme over and over again. So recurring dreams tell us that there is something that we are not addressing, and there is something within our unconscious that is, like your mother nagging at you. It's the same kind of same method of nagging at you to ask you to, hey, pay attention, pay attention. So, personally, I had this recurring dream since I was a child until I was in my teenage years. And in this recurring dream, the theme is always the same. The theme is that I either left the home without shoes, or I left the home with the wrong pair of shoes, or wearing someone else's shoes. And so I had this dream since I was a child until teenage years. And because this recurring dream happened so frequently that whenever it happened, I came to a point in my mind, I go like, oh no, not again. And I would consciously make sure, right? So if I look down and I see that, oh no, I forgot my shoes again, I would force myself in a dream to go back and, make sure I put on a pair of shoes, right? So this was towards my like late teens, where I was finally able to do that, right? So the theme, of course, when we're talking about shoes, footwear, is about, are you walking on your path? Are you walking on your own path, or are you walking on someone else's path, right? So I had that dream recurring over and over again, over and over again. So it was really interesting. So, when I reached my early 20s, I started the path of personal journey, personal development, and that's where my this particular dream stopped, right? Which is very interesting for me, at least, in my own um, personal growth and development. So in a sleep stage, right, as I've said earlier on, that we do need to go into deeper, we have different stages, right, of sleep mode. So when we enter into sleep, usually, we go lighter, and then we go deep. And then, of course, the deeper we go, the more restful our brain is, right? And then when we are about to be waking up, so usually our dreams, some of these dreams we get is like upon waking, right? So usually it's like early morning, where maybe 3, 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. we get these dreams where we can remember, because we are at the stage where we go really, really deep, right, in our sleep, and then up, when it's like going down and then upswing, right, where the mind becomes really, really active, and that's where the dreams occur. And that's why when we, wake up from the dream, it's usually in the morning, we can remember the dream, right? So I would recommend that you keep a dream journal, all right? To remember your dream, immediately record your dreams. I've realized that whenever I tell myself, okay, this is what I dreamt, I'm going to remember it, when I wake up finally, I'm going to write it down, chances are I won't remember. And then we wake up feeling like, scratching your head, trying to recall the dream, and it gets really difficult, right? So I would usually reach out for a voice recorder, and I would voice record my dream, like very quickly, right? Like, oh, this is what happened, right? So in the morning, I will try and decipher what I just said. And usually, it's successful. So this is one way, right? But if you're the kind that you are okay to jot down, take down notes very quickly, write it out, have a notepad next to you with pen and paper, right? Just record the points and then remember. Next day, you can try to remember your dreams. And remembering the dreams and then analyzing them is part of the process, right? In dream work that we do, when we keep a dream journal, we may not be able to immediately analyze or interpret the dreams. It is not, it's not, I would say be patient. When you want to analyze your dreams, be very patient, because we may not necessarily get the meaning or be able to analyze the dreams immediately. And usually it takes time for certain levels of realization, like, okay, this was what the dream was all about, right? It takes time. And I, in my dream journal, right, I have like tons of dreams and some dreams are still, I have no answers, right? Some dreams I can only guess and answer. Because I'm an intuitive and I'm a psychic, so I do get these kind of dreams where I dream of world events. So an example would be, one example would be before the Russian-Ukraine thing happened, a year before that happened, I had a dream where, Russian soldiers, and, there was fighting, right? And in observing the dream, I was just one person standing there, like watching a movie, like, what's going on? I'm not even involved in the scene. It's not my dream. I don't know these people. I just see them walking up and down, talking, discussion, like having meetings. And so, that's one example of this kind of like world event dreams. So usually this kind of dreams, is not connected to me, nothing to do with me, but I'll still journal it down and try to analyze. Firstly, I would analyze it as my own dream, but if I can't get any answer, I'll just leave it, because then there's a realization that, it's really not mine. So I would say the same for you. So if you have dreams where it makes no sense whatsoever, and you are not involved, like nobody's talking to you, you're not feeling anything, you're just like watching a movie, you are um your emotions are not involved in it, you're just watching, then that's possibly, and the people that you dream are not anyone you know, right? So then, which means that you are not involved, and that's probably like you tuning into some psychic reality. Okay. Now, let's talk about common meanings, right? In dreams. So common meanings would be like falling down, flying, being chased. These are very common. Or being in a car. Being in a car is also very common. Being in a train, being in some big vehicle, whether it's train, airplane, all these are quite common themes. And one thing to bear in mind is when you're dreaming, you have to also recognize, when you're doing your dream analysis, you have to recognize what sort of emotions you were feeling during the dream, because it does make a difference, right? When you're, whatever you're feeling and what you dream, right, makes a lot of difference. Let's say you dream of yourself in a car and you're feeling happy. So that has an entirely different meaning versus you being in a car and feeling sad, right? So it takes us on a different tangent in how we analyze the dreams. So common, like falling, these are depending on how you fall, whether you are being pushed or whether you fall voluntarily, right? So if you fall voluntarily in a dream, it's like you are taking a plunge, you are taking a risk, and your unconscious is preparing you for that. And you are being brave, you're being courageous, so your unconscious is preparing you for that actual event where you are taking a risk in something. Maybe you decide to take a new job, maybe you decide to quit your job. Something is happening in your life where, or something is about to happen in your life, and so your unconscious is preparing you for it. So if you're being pushed, right, you're on a high cliff and someone pushes you down, that sort of dream, then usually is about depending on who is the person pushing you as well. So if it's someone you trust pushing you, then is like someone who acts like a mentor or a coach who is helping you, right, in your journey, in your path, and pushing you along and say, hey, you need to get off your butt and do something about it, right? Do something about what's happening in your life. Now, if it is someone you don't know, who's pushing you, then depending on how you're feeling, whether you're running away from this person, whether you've been chased and then you are at the edge of the cliff and they're pushing you down, then there may be a chance that you may be self-sabotaging, that there is a situation in your life where you are sabotaging yourself, that you are not facing truth, facing reality. The other thing also is it could also be in a situation where you may not be watching your own back, right? In a particular situation. So if you're not watching your own back, then this dream is also asking you to be careful, okay? So being chased in a dream is whether this person, this person or you don't know, makes a difference. If it's unknown, then it's some unknown fears that you may have, that's chasing you, that's trying to get you to get on with things, or is some form of fear that is catching up with you that maybe you've been avoiding for a long time. You don't want to deal with it, and then so it's chasing you, right? But if it's a person chasing you, then you have to ask yourself, who is this person, and what does this person represent to me? So let's say if you dream of this friend, and this friend usually is, you know, maybe a very friendly type of person. And in a dream, this person is just chasing, and you ask yourself, okay, what is this? Okay, what does this person represent to me? Because that person is the representation of an aspect of you. So this friendly person chasing you, what could it mean, right? So if this person the key personality trait of this person is friendliness, and this person is chasing you, there's a very high chance that you need to up your friend. Yeah, this is just an example. Yeah, so you need to up your friendliness level, right? Maybe you've been so self-involved in your own stuff that you have forgotten, how to be friendly with other people. And so this friendly personality that is represented by this friend is running after you, chasing after you, and reminding you, right, to up your friendliness quotient, so to speak. Okay, so everyone that we dream of represents an aspect of ourselves. This is how our mind utilizes symbols. So let's say if you dream of your mother, then it is the mother aspect of yourself, the parent, the female aspect of yourself. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman, we all have a female aspect and a masculine aspect, a feminine aspect of ourselves. So we have a masculine parent and a feminine parent. So if you dream of your mother, then it is your feminine parent within yourself that is coming in to communicate with you within your own unconscious. So depending on how the dream plays out, then what is the mother telling you? So if the mother is scolding you, then it is your female mother or parent figure, trying to get you to pay attention to something. All right. Now, there is another type of dream that is another symbol, which is you having sexual connection with someone, right? So people usually feel like, oh my God, I'm having sex with this person or that person. Usually people see it as a bad dream, or they think that they have to act on it. Sexual dreams have nothing to do with sex. Most of the time it is about you merging and connecting with an aspect of yourself that you have not connected with. And sex is about union. Sex is about connection. So it's really, as simple as that when it comes to interpreting our dreams, right? Is merging that certain aspect. So depending on how the sexual dream plays out for you, right? So there are a lot of symbols. Let me check for questions. Anyone has any questions? Okay, no questions at the moment. But I'll address them. If you have them, do type it in. Those of you watching, okay, do type it in. And I will answer several questions that I received by email, okay? So, let's see. I have some notes written down here. Okay, so sometimes we do have recurring patterns in dreams, right? So recurring patterns is very similar to recurring dreams, right? So this pattern, then we have to ask ourselves, what is the dream trying to tell me? Like the example I gave about the shoes, right? So that's a theme. So a recurring dream could be the same exact dream happening over and over again, or you have like my dream where leaving the home without shoes is recurring theme. All right, so we have both of these, and they do it's like they're probing us and making us recognize or take ownership of something that's going on in our lives. Okay, now the benefits of dreams, right? I feel I need to highlight benefits of dreams, because if not, then why are we doing this, right? So benefit of dreams would be, firstly, it helps us to gain clarity about what are our fears, and it helps us to process emotions, especially if we are the type of person who tend to suppress our emotions. Dream work helps us to work it out. It's our defense mechanism, and our brain, right, or our mind is helping us to deal with it. So if we don't deal with it, then it's going to cause us discomfort. So I'm going to share this. Someone that I knew a long time ago had this dream. she dreamt that she attended a funeral. And so there was a lot of grieving. And for her, I mean, this was, okay, I have to say that not all dreams about funerals means that you're going to experience a funeral, right? Not all dreams. Most of the time, it is highly symbolic, right? But this person had this dream attending a funeral. And when someone close to her passed on, and she was standing at the funeral at the same scene, she realized that she was having this deja vu experience where she had this feeling or this sensation, the exact same scene, being played out, right? And there's a reason why when this sort of thing happens, when trauma is going to take place, our unconscious also is very aware of what is about to happen. So in a sense, we are all psychics. In a sense, we can tap into energies of the future. And so sometimes we get these sort of dreams and they prepare us for the trauma that is about to take place. So it takes, it gives us a picture or a feeling or something to prep us so that when it actually happens, the impact is not going to be as shocking. Right. So when I was a child, I used to also have a lot of these sort of dreams. I dreamt of my teacher, my favorite teacher. At that time, I think I was 14 years old. I dreamt of my favorite teacher leaving the school. So I went to school and I told my friend about it. I said, I dreamt that, Miss Low is leaving us, and so I hope it doesn't happen. So sad. So we're having this mini discussion, right, in secondary school. And then I think about a week later, she announced that she was leaving. And so the friend that I told to, she turned around, because she sits next to me in class, right? She sat next to me in class. She turned around, she looked at me, she said, "Oh my God, your dream," So then at that point in time, of course, being 14-year-olds, we didn't quite understand. And she said, "Why did you make your dream come true?" Obviously I didn't make the dream come true. It was just, something that was, I just had this like a preparation dream, right? To prep me for before something happens. So I still get a lot of these dreams, in terms of my personal growth, my personal development, where it preps me for something that is about to happen. It has happened a lot in my love relationships, where I would have recurring dreams about, potential partners coming into my life. And that has happened time and time again in different relationships. Okay. And so that, I don't know why I get these recurring dreams. I wonder if it's to prep me for trauma or nightmare. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But that has happened time and time again. So the benefits of dreams really is to help us to be much more prepared for things that are about to happen. It helps us to really process emotions, especially and emotional, working with our emotions can sometimes be so frightening, right? And our dreams is one way where we process them so that we don't get locked in, right, in that emotion that could cause us further harm. And that, easily translates to physical diseases as well, okay? So for example, if you had a traumatic childhood, chances are you would have a lot of dreams on anxiety. You would have recurring dreams. There's always a same theme. And these kind of trauma is, especially if we are not seeking therapy, not just childhood trauma, any kind of trauma, if we don't seek therapy, then we will keep getting this recurring dreams, recurring nightmares, anxiety over and over again. It's just your mind's way to kick you in the butt and say, you need to do something about it. You really need to, get some help to help you overcome this, right? So PTSD is real, right? I mean, if we hear, watch TV, watch drama, right, of people who've been to war, and if they don't seek help, they don't go for therapy, they get these recurring dreams, right? Or or they get waking dreams where they may be doing something, they hear a sound that brings them back to that trauma that they experienced, and then they go into that mode where they are paralyzed, right? So this is the mind's way to help us to cope with the trauma that has been bombarded onto us, okay? So it is, we have to take cues from these dreams. Dreams are a reminder. It's just going to keep probing and keep, knocking you until you do something about it, all right? So it's very, very important. Now, I have to say this to spiritual people, right? Spiritual people, if you're watching this, a lot of times spiritual people misinterpret their dreams, because when they dream of something, a lot of times they jump into conclusion that this is literally what is going to happen. But I can tell you 99% of the time it is not, that it is not literal, okay? So unless you have a really powerful spiritual dream where you are experiencing the entity or the energy merging with you, and you literally feel it merging, and there is a real form of communication where you are, it's not just a dream state where you are fully involved, right? Your whole being is involved in your merging and communication with that entity or that being, then I would say that would be like a out of this world kind of experience. If not, it is a dream that you would just have to interpret from a psychological level. I know I'm saying this in a way that may not, not many people, spiritual people will be happy with what I say. But because there is so much glamorizing of these sort of dreams that people keep thinking that is spiritual, and they're not using that opportunity to process their thoughts and their emotions and their own fears and their own shortcomings. And I feel it's a wasted opportunity. So I'm saying this out of love. I'm saying this because I would like more spiritual people to understand how important it is to work on your psychology. And, not all dreams is about your higher self or your angels or your spirit guides telling you something. Most of the time it's your unconscious. It is your shadow energy helping you. Shadow parts of self is as important as your spiritual parts of self. Okay, it's really as important as that. And the reason why we see so many spiritual people not growing and stagnated, or being taken off tangent, right? Thinking that they are communicating with some higher beings, or thinking that they are some messenger or something, is, they've gone off, right? Because they're not working on their psychology. So I highly encourage, all spiritual people to do really deep psychotherapy work, because that's the only way you can grow. That's the only way you can understand yourself, okay? So that's my short blurb for spiritual people, spiritual practitioners. Now, I'd like to go into another part of this class where we are going to talk about maybe something about shadow work. I've, touched a little bit on that already. Let me see. Sometimes when we are in denial of our anxiety, our fear, our shame, and other types of negative emotions, the dreams, and in our waking world, we hide these emotions, right? Our dreams will play them out a lot. So depending on your perception, sometimes you will think that they are nightmares, but they're not. All right, it's just playing out your anxiety. It's just playing out your fears because you are not acknowledging them. And it is very, very important, because a lot of physical diseases are caused by unprocessed emotions. So a lot of sickness, right, that people get. Cancer is a popular one. Cancer is really unprocessed emotions that is erupting, right? Because in the world that we live in now, we try to be good. In the world that we live in now, we have been taught that we cannot express negative emotions. In the world that we live in, is almost like it's shameful to share, to talk about it. Now, I'm not saying that you go around telling people how you're feeling, right? Be responsible. You don't want to bombard people with all your negative emotions. Speak to a professional is what I would say, right? So personally for me, I will never bombard my negative feelings, emotions to my friends, to people I like, because I feel that I don't want to, weigh other people down that way. Because I feel that processing my emotions is a very important part of my personal development. And if I speak to the wrong people, they're going to give me wrong input. So I would speak to a professional usually. And that for me helps me to process my thoughts, my emotions in a much more productive and effective way. All right. And we've all been there where we have friends, when we meet them, all they talk about are their negative emotions. They bombard us with their, how they're feeling and blah, blah, blah. And it takes up time and it's tiring, right? We've been with people who are just tiring to be with, right? So I would say take personal responsibility, right, when it comes to this. Now, your dreams, if you are the type, you pent up a lot of the negative emotions, anxiety, you're going through bad stuff in your life, you're going through trauma in your life, you will get dreams. And even if you can't remember them, maybe you wake up feeling awful. You wake up feeling like, oh my God, I feel so tired. I feel like even though I slept for 10 hours, I did not get 10 hours of quality sleep. What happened there? I don't know. I don't remember. Right? A few things to recognize that you may be having these sort of anxiety dreams, but you may not remember them and you're processing your emotions. That's why depressed people sleep a lot, because they're processing. In the dream state, they are processing some form of emotions and energies that they are completely not aware of and completely not, because these emotions are hidden so much in the shadow that they're unaware of it completely. And that's why they sleep a lot. So if you're going through depression and you tend to sleep a lot, I would say go for professional help, right? Sleeping a lot may be one way of coping, but it is not helping you to live life as you should as a human being, right? So that's my advice to you if you're feeling, very depressed. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about some dreams. Okay. Let me see. I received a few examples. Okay. Now, before I go into talking about dreams, and someone here has also posted something about dream, I will help you to interpret this dream. Okay. But before I go there, I want to emphasize that when we do shadow work and we do dream analysis, we have to approach it with compassion. We have to approach it with gentleness, towards ourselves, and also with curiosity. Okay, we have to approach it with curiosity. We have to be curious about it. We have to be, yeah, just be curious, have like put on your investigative hat and feel like you are a private investigator, right? And investigating like, who is this person, within my own unconscious that is having these dreams, and be very open to the idea. Okay. So, all right. So we'll deal with it that way. Okay, let me just bring up my file here. Questions for dreams. Okay. Okay. Before we go there, I want to answer this question. This question is, this person says that I used to recall my dreams, but now I can't. It's more a sense of the dream, but not actual recall. How does one improve recall of dreams? So as I've said earlier on, quality of sleep is very important. So make sure that you have good quality sleep. And if you get a sense of that dream, even if you cannot recall the events, jot down the emotions, the sense, what kind of emotions or what kind of mindset that you had in the dream. That's it. We do not necessarily have to recall the actual scenes, but the feelings, emotions, and your mindset of the dream would be really good clue as well to help us interpret dreams, right? I'm a very audible person, so I do dream in sounds. I know this sounds weird. There are many dreams that I've had is just sound. I do not necessarily have visual dreams sometimes, right? So sometimes it's just sound. And yeah, so I would take the sound into consideration in when in my dream analysis. Okay, so I know dreams are supposed to be visual, but because I am also a clairaudient, which means that in my psychic abilities, I tune into sounds, I tune into vibrations and frequencies. So when someone is, let's say, in my work that I do, I hear the vibration of the person. So whether to know whether this person is well or unwell, I go by frequency. So it's by sound. Yeah, that's how I function. That's how I do my work, right? So I would say maybe I don't know anyone else who dream in sounds, so it may not be the norm. So if you do dream in sounds, it'll be interesting, right? Let me know. Okay, I like to do this dream interpretation that's sent to me by email. And so this person and his partner were in a car, and they just bought a property, and they were traveling in a small car. It's not known here whether you were the driver or your partner was the driver. It makes a difference. If you're the driver, that means you're in charge. If you're not the driver, then you are just along for the ride, and that in the dream you feel like you're not in charge. Someone else is in charge. Okay, and you park the car and you walk around the town. You saw a steep road, but you were not in the car, right? Driving up. Or you were looking at the steep road, but you were not in the car. Okay. So you're looking at the steep road and you're thinking to yourself, we are not going to be able to drive the car over that steep slope. Okay. So your interpretation is right, that a challenge to go up the slope, yes. But it can still be, there are challenges ahead. Of course, this is a dream telling you that. The challenges ahead, and it's a steep slope, but you're not in the car driving it. So you might want to, for you, right, in this dream, you might want to play out a visualization where you are sitting in the car and you are going up the steep slope, which means you replay the scene, right? But you replay it with conscious awareness. You just do it through visualization. Okay, so you see yourself in the car. You want to be in the driver's seat, and you are going through that same town, and you see the same slope, and you're driving up the slope, and you do it with no problem. Maybe some hard work, right? Like, trying to rev up the car to, move up the slope and then coming down, and see yourself doing it easily. So it is a visualization that I would ask you to keep doing as a way to prep yourself, to prepare yourself. You want to work through the shadow. So the shadow has shown you that there is some challenges and you're not sure. So if you're questioning like, oh, there's no way I'm going to go over that slope, this is what your shadow is saying. But retrain your mind in your visualization. You see yourself being able to overcome the slope. So you do it as a conscious, creative visualization. Okay, so I hope that helps. Another one about car. Okay, so this person is seated in the car, and there is a female friend in the back seat of the car, and the female friend handed him 2 decks of poker cards and asked him to go home and shuffle them, and then handed another and multiple decks of cards, some with nude pictures. And so this female friend is sitting in the back seat, right? So I presume that you're sitting in front and you are the driver. And so this female friend, I would ask you to ask yourself, what does this female friend represent to you? All right? What does this female friend represent? When you think of this female friend, what kind of qualities this person have, right? So if this person is sitting in the back seat, what you want is that you want this female friend maybe in your conscious creative visualization, you want this female friend to actually be part of you. So this female friend should be sitting in front with you. Okay. So if you want to take this dream further, where you want to do creative visualization, okay. And but then something interesting happened to this female friend, right? This female friend then became bald, and the two front teeth were missing, and this female friend started crying, right? So like turn zombie, right? So I know you're a male, so this female friend is a female aspect of yourself. The female aspect has become zombified. So my key question to you is, are you getting in touch with the feminine part of yourself? All right. Would be something for you to explore, would be something for you to think about. Or have you pushed down or don't want to acknowledge the female part of yourself? And then in the dream further on, that this female friend commented that another mutual female friend is also in a similar plight and is now in hospital, right? So two female figures in your dream. So they probably have something in common. So think about it. What do these two female friends have in common to you? Okay, symbolically, what do they mean to you? What kind of qualities they have? And these qualities are qualities within yourself that you are denying, that you are not looking at. All right. So nude pictures is about being naked, being transparent. Okay, transparent to yourself. So if these two female friends represent, they have same kind of quality, maybe they are confrontational. Okay, for example, they're confrontational type. And maybe you are denying that confrontational part of yourself. That you're afraid of this part of yourself. You're afraid you have denied this within yourself, okay? Because the next part of your dream is very interesting. You said that a teenage boy then appeared next to this female friend in the backseat of a car, and this teenage boy attempted to kiss the female friend. And then another friend, a male friend who is much younger, also appeared in the front seat, and this young friend also wants to kiss the female friend. All right. So the teenager and the young friend are both also aspects of you, right? So the teenager, you as a teenager, and the young friend is part of you, right? So these two aspects of you in the past, the kissing is very telling. Kissing means that you want to merge with this female aspect of yourself, whatever the female friend represents. So the female friend could be a confrontational kind of person, or a female friend could be a whatever it means to you, right? So the teenage part of you and the young part of you wants to merge. So that's why there's an attempt to try and kiss, right? To kiss this female friend. Interesting. So which means that the younger parts of you are very willing to merge with this part of yourself. But maybe the present you or the older you is kind of afraid of the feminine energy within yourself, the strong feminine energy within yourself. So something to explore. I feel this dream is very significant for you, and that's why it appears as like quite extreme symbols, right? Like pictures of, naked pictures, poker cards, zombie, hospital, the symbols are very extreme. And because it's very extreme, right, and feels like a nightmare even, right, and you can remember them, which means it does have a significant impact in your life, and it's something that you need to pay attention to, okay? So I hope that helps. Let me see. So there's a dream here. Okay, recent dream. Flying above a city or town, and the whole town seems to be covered in ice or salt. It seems to be preserved or dead. It felt like a ghost town. My feelings about the town were that I was just as an observer. So you're flying over, all right? So something to consider here, that if you're flying over a town or a city usually is about life, right? But this town or city is dead, is preserved, there's no life, and you're just flying over. The question I have for you is that are you just skimming over life? Something to contemplate, nothing, no judgment. Usually dreams are dreams and they are powerful symbols. And do you just skim over life or are you living life, right? Another thing that I would ask you to explore is something preserved, right? Are you not looking into how you're feeling, right? If it's covered in ice or salt, it's preserved, right? It's frozen. So something needs to melt inside your own feelings. Perhaps deeper work into acknowledging what you're actually experiencing rather than scheming over things, right? This is a very common, theme, okay? A very common theme about, getting in touch with emotions, okay? And I would say, it's worth exploring. It's really worth exploring, what are the kind of emotions and feelings that you have kept frozen and not wanting to feel, all right? So are you saying that in the dream, the town has 1 billion people? Okay, so sometimes in the dream, if you are trying to, we see mass destruction, right? We see a lot of people dying. It could mean many things. It could mean many things. But you need to also think about what sort of emotions we're going through. Are you in your own daily life, right? We have to connect dream with our daily life. In your daily life, are you in touch with your emotions? And what is your predominant emotion on a daily basis? Okay. And something to consider, right? So, okay, so in the dream, you were very conscious that there were 1 billion people dying, right? And this was about the experimental medicine. I don't want to get cut off here on YouTube. So experimental medicine. And so there is a fear, right? When we observe what's happening in the world today, there is a real fear that we have 1 billion people dying or maybe more, right? And so, but what are your feelings about this? This is something that you need to thaw out. You need to allow it to melt. You need to be able to feel them, process them. Don't use your mind. Use the body, use the emotions. Okay, that will allow you to really access the shadow energies that are driving this fear and looking at the situation. We do not necessarily have to indulge in the fear. We can but this dream, I feel, is really asking you to go into asking yourself how you're actually feeling, okay, about it. Thaw out the emotions, okay? Does anyone have any other questions? Let me check my email. Okay. I think I've answered. Okay, I think I've answered all of the questions that were sent to me, unless I missed them out somehow, somewhere. Well, if I missed out your question somehow, maybe send it by mail or Telegram or WhatsApp. If I missed it out, could you just put it in the comment and I will get back to you for sure. Okay. Now, let's see. So in shadow work, shadow work is a very huge, big pool of work that needs to be done, right? So we have like, delving into the unconscious, working with dreams. If you're familiar with Carl Jung's work, you will know that, shadow work reveals so much. I know there are a lot of people who don't believe in shadow work. They feel like shadow work is indulging in negativity, but that's not so, right? We want to throw light into the shadow. So even in dreams, right, when we have nightmares, we want to throw light into our nightmares to try to understand what these shadow parts of self means. So the meaning of shadow work is basically things that are unknown to us, things that are not in our conscious awareness, and dreams usually reveal that, all right? And our reaction to things often reveal that. So let's say if someone says something and you're defensive, that's a shadow energy, right? That's a reactionary response. Sometimes it's trauma response, right? And so when we are traumatized in life, and then when someone says something, we react to what they say, but it has nothing to do with what this person has said. It's your reaction that comes from the shadow. So dreams can show us that a lot of the times, right? So in remembering dreams, have a dream journal, keep a record of your dreams. Sometimes you can have better understanding of your dreams, maybe 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, even. Sometimes it can take as long. When you're doing consistent work on yourself, right, on your consciousness, keeping a dream journal shows you the stages of your growth and your development, right? So I have like tons of dream journals. I've been keeping my dreams since, I don't know, since I was in my late teens, right? So there's a whole wealth of information for me to work through sometimes, and recalling some dreams, in the past that I've had has been really helpful. Okay, so I would highly encourage you. I mean, if you are into personal growth and personal development, I would highly recommend that you keep a dream journal. It is extremely powerful. It helps you to grow. It helps you to have better self-understanding. Okay, so yeah, we've come to the end almost of our class, unless anyone has any more questions. If not, then I am going to really just recap some of the key takeaways from this live stream. Okay, so we talk about the importance of keeping a dream journal, how to remember our dreams, have deeper sleep. If you are not sleeping well, make sure that you get the right supplements, especially magnesium, right? If you are having problems with women, especially as you get older, you may find that you're not getting quality sleep, you're not getting enough sleep, or you can't sleep because of premenopausal or menopausal issues. Then make sure you get the right supplements. Magnesium is one of them. I will place a link below this live stream to give you a link as to where you can get quality magnesium. Right, this is a supplement that I usually recommend to other women, and it's created by a functional medicine doctor. So that is a very good one for supplement and for sleep. It's pure magnesium. Okay, so you can get that from her. I'll give you the link. I can give you, I think I have a discount code, so you can buy from there with the discount code as well. Okay, now so get quality sleep, keep a dream journal, review your dreams. When you wake up immediately, let's say you got jolted out of sleep, immediately write it down or record it down, voice record, or do something, record it before it goes away. Okay, so dreams also, benefits of dreams gives us clarity. It helps us to process emotions, helps us to overcome our fears, right? And also the concept of shadow work, right? Dream work is part of shadow work that we do. And shadow work, the shadow self sometimes can have can express, fear, anxiety, shame, and other negative emotions. And then we use the, unconsciously, right? We use dreams to process these emotions. Okay. Be gentle with yourself when you are analyzing your dreams. Have curiosity, all right? Be curious, have compassion. Take time, don't rush in your dream interpretation. The dream has already happened. All you need to do is analyze, and it does take time, right, to gain some form of clarity. Okay. And then, yeah, this would be the basic key points that I've talked about. Let me see. All right, so we have one more, An Older Dream by Heather. You're climbing a mountain. It's a difficult trip, but there are caves, and out of the entrances, there are butterflies. Okay. So, this dream is very, very symbolic. Climbing a mountain is about, trying to achieve something, right? Uphill climb. It could be anything that you are trying to achieve in life. And so there are caves, and the caves are resting points, right? And out of the entrances, there are butterflies. So it's about transformation. So when we are on a journey, when we're trying to achieve something like climbing up a mountain, it could be a job, it could be our family, it could be our emotions, it could be spiritual life, it could be anything, right? And when we are climbing a mountain and we have these rest points, and we see the rest points give us such good symbols like butterflies, it tells us that we are on our way to transformation, right? So that's a very, very symbolic dream, a very powerful dream. You might also want to process what were you feeling, when you're on a mountain, when you saw the butterfly, what sort of emotions came up, right? So process those emotions, sit with those emotions, whether they're negative or positive, it doesn't matter, but it's important to process. So that's the other thing, right? I just want to highlight here. In life, a lot of times people process negative emotions, but they don't take time to process positive emotions. Right? So this is something a little bit off tangent from my dream class that I'm doing here. But I feel I need to say this because oftentimes people just sit down and process their negative emotions, but no one takes time to process the positive emotions, right? We have to sit down, savor the positive emotions, like, oh, I'm feeling this. This is really, really nice. I'm feeling very happy. And I allow this happiness, to sit within my heart in the solar plexus. I allow these positive emotions to blanket over me and sit with that, process, sit with them and honor that, that's as important as processing negative emotions. Often people just want to talk about the negative emotions, but no one talks about their positive emotions. And I think that should be a habit that we all cultivate, right? So that we can inspire people to be much more focused in the positive emotions. Okay. So if you are watching this as a recording, I thank you for staying with me for so long. If you're watching this as live and you have been here with me throughout, I thank you very much as well. And yeah, there's several of you who've been here throughout, and I really appreciate it. As you know, I'm trying to grow this channel as well, and I will be doing live classes, possibly twice a month. I'll do live classes. But intermittently, I will be posting short clips of other classes that I have done, which I feel will be very beneficial for you as an audience to help you in your personal growth and development. So do come back, and I'll let you know what the next live class will be, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, depending on where you are. If you're in my part of the world, have a wonderful Thursday. If you are in another part of the world, I wish you a wonderful evening, good night, and take care. Bye for now.